If your hands and feet are always cold, even in a warm room, even under a blanket, even in summer, and you have simply accepted it as part of getting older, I want you to give me the next 25 minutes. Because after 60, cold hands and feet are usually not just aging. They are a signal about your circulation and sometimes about your heart, your thyroid, or your blood. Today I'm going to show you exactly why it happens, how to tell the harmless kind from the kind you should not ignore, and, most importantly, the real, practical things that actually warm your hands and feet and get your blood flowing again. I am Dr. Okoro, and on this channel I take what the medical research actually says and turn it into simple steps you can use. Everything here is grounded in published sources, and I will point to them as we go. Let us not waste a minute. Before I explain the why, I want you to do a quick check with me right now, because it tells you a great deal in about 30 seconds. Here's the check. First, take the back of one hand and touch the top of both of your feet, one at a time. Notice the temperature. Now here is the key question. Are they equally cool, or is one foot noticeably colder than the other? Remember your answer, because it matters enormously, and I will tell you why in a moment. Second, press firmly on the nail of your big toe, or your fingernail, until the color blanches to white. Then let go and watch. Count how fast the pink color floods back. Under 2 seconds is healthy. 3 seconds or longer means blood is being slow to reach that fingertip or toe. Third, look at the color of your toes and fingers. Healthy is pink, pale, white, or a bluish dusky tint is a circulation flag. Do those 3 things now: temperature, the press and refill, and the color. Keep your results in mind. Now let me explain what is actually happening. To understand cold hands and feet, you have to understand what your body does with heat and blood, because your fingers and toes are the front line of both. Your hands and feet are the farthest points from your heart, at the very end of the plumbing. They have a huge amount of surface area for their size, which means they lose heat quickly, and they are kept warm almost entirely by the warm blood your heart pumps down to them. So anything that reduces the flow of warm blood to your extremities makes them cold. That is the whole story in one sentence. Cold hands and feet are, most of the time, a blood flow story. Now let me give you the specific reasons that flow drops after 60, because there are several, and knowing yours points you to the fix. The first and most common reason is simply that your circulation changes with age. As we get older, the walls of our blood vessels become stiffer and less elastic, and the body produces less of a substance called nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is the signal that tells your blood vessels to relax and open wide, which is how warm blood gets pushed all the way out to your fingers and toes. With less nitric oxide and stiffer vessels, the small arteries in your hands and feet do not open as fully, and less warm blood reaches the surface. Think of it like a garden hose that has gone stiff and slightly kinked with age. The same pump is pushing, but less water reaches the far end. This is the ordinary common reason, and the good news is that it is also one of the most responsive to the movement and food strategies I will give you shortly. The second reason is that your body's insulation and furnace both change with age. Older adults tend to have thinner skin and less of the fat layer just beneath it that holds heat in, so warmth escapes faster. At the same time, muscle mass declines with age, and muscle is your body's furnace. It generates a great deal of your body heat. Less muscle means less heat produced, and your metabolism, the overall rate at which your body burns fuel and makes warmth, tends to slow. So after 60, you are often producing a little less heat and holding onto it a little less well. This is why building and keeping muscle with gentle strength work is one of the quiet secrets to feeling warmer, which surprises people. The third reason involves your nerves. The nerves that run to your hands and feet help control the tiny muscles around your blood vessels that open and close them to regulate temperature. When those nerves are damaged, most commonly by diabetes, but also by vitamin deficiencies or other conditions, the signaling gets scrambled and your feet may feel cold or numb, or oddly both cold and burning at once. If your cold feet come along with tingling, numbness, or a pins and needles feeling, nerve involvement is likely part of your picture, and that is a specific thing to raise with your doctor. The fourth reason is in your blood itself. Anemia, a shortage of healthy red blood cells, often from low iron or low vitamin B12, means your blood carries less oxygen and your body struggles to keep warm. Feeling cold all the time, along with fatigue, pale skin, and shortness of breath, is a classic pattern of anemia, and it is common and very treatable in older adults. And then there is the thyroid. Your thyroid gland sets your body's overall metabolic thermostat. When it becomes underactive, a condition called hypothyroidism, which becomes more common with age, especially in women, everything slows down, including your heat production. Cold intolerance, feeling cold when others are comfortable, is one of the most common signs of an underactive thyroid, usually along with fatigue, weight gain, dry skin, and constipation. Both anemia and thyroid problems are found with a simple blood test, and both are correctable, which is exactly why feeling cold all the time is worth a conversation with your doctor, rather than just another sweater. And the fifth reason, which people almost never suspect, is medication. Several very common medications can make your hands and feet colder as a side effect. Beta blockers, widely prescribed for high blood pressure and heart conditions, work partly by reducing the force of circulation to the extremities, and cold hands and feet are a well-known result. Some other blood pressure medications and migraine medications can do the same. I am not telling you to stop anything. Please never stop a prescribed medication on your own. But if your cold hands and feet started after you began a new medication, that timing is worth mentioning to your doctor because sometimes an adjustment is possible. So those are the ordinary reasons: aging vessels, less insulation in muscle, nerve changes, anemia or thyroid, and medications. For most people, cold hands and feet are some combination of these, and they are manageable. But now I need to give you the part that matters most. The signs that mean your cold feet are not ordinary and need real attention. Please do not skip this. The first serious pattern is the one I asked you to check at the very start: one foot noticeably colder than the other. Ordinary age-related coldness affects both sides fairly equally because it is a whole-body change. When one foot is consistently colder, paler, or more painful than the other, that points to a blockage in the artery feeding that specific leg, peripheral artery disease, or PAD. This is a narrowing of the arteries in the legs from the same kind of plaque that clogs the arteries of the heart. And here is why it is so serious. PAD is not really a leg problem. It is a marker that the same disease is very likely present in the arteries of your heart and brain, which dramatically raises the risk of heart attack and stroke. So one-sided cold, especially with leg pain when you walk that eases when you rest, is a see your doctor sign. The test is simple and painless. It is called an ankle brachial index, and it compares the blood pressure at your ankle to the pressure in your arm. Ask for it by name. The second serious pattern is a sudden change. If a foot or hand becomes suddenly cold, pale or bluish, painful and numb, that can mean an artery has become acutely blocked, and that is an emergency. Do not wait. Seek care immediately. The third is a color-changing pattern where your fingers or toes turn white, then blue, then red, often triggered by cold or stress with numbness. That is called Raynaud's, and while it is often not dangerous on its own, it should be evaluated because occasionally it is linked to other conditions. And the fourth is any cold foot together with a sore or wound that will not heal, especially if you have diabetes, because cold, poorly circulated, and numb feet are exactly how small wounds turn into serious ones. That combination needs prompt medical care. So, to summarize the warning signs: one foot much colder than the other, a sudden, cold, pale, painful foot, the white, blue, red color change, and any non-healing sore on a cold foot. Any of those, see your doctor. The first and last of them this week. Everything else let us now warm up because you have real power here. Here is how to actually warm your hands and feet and improve your circulation. And I am going to give you the things that genuinely work, in the order of how much they matter. Number 1, and nothing else on this list comes close: move your body often in small doses. This is the single most powerful thing you can do for cold hands and feet, and it is free. When you contract your muscles, especially your calves, you physically pump blood back up through your veins, and you trigger the release of that nitric oxide that opens your arteries and sends warm blood to the surface. A short walk warms your feet more reliably than any drink or supplement. The key after 60 is frequency, not intensity. Do not sit still for hours. Every hour you are awake, get up and walk for even 3 to 5 minutes. Or if you are seated, do a set of vigorous ankle pumps, pulling your toes up toward your shins and pointing them down 30 times. You will often feel your feet warm within minutes. This is the foundation. Everything else is a supplement to movement, not a substitute for it. Number 2, build and keep a little muscle. Because muscle is your furnace, gentle strength work, sitting to standing from a chair, wall push-ups, light resistance bands, a few times a week, raises your resting heat production and improves circulation over the following weeks. You are not training for anything. You are rebuilding your body's ability to make and move warmth. This is the slow, quiet fix that pays off the most over months. Number 3, warm your hands and feet directly, but do it safely, because this is where people with numb feet get hurt. Warm socks, especially wool or thermal socks, and layering your body, because when your core is warm, your body is willing to send more blood out to your hands and feet. When your core is cold, it pulls blood inward to protect your organs and abandons your extremities first. So keeping your whole body warm actually warms your fingers and toes. A warm foot soak before bed can be wonderful for circulation and sleep. But here is the critical safety rule. If your feet are numb from nerve damage, you cannot trust them to sense heat, and people burn themselves badly this way. Always test the water with your elbow or a thermometer. Warm, never hot, no more than body temperature. And never use a heating pad or hot water bottle directly against numb feet. Warmth, yes. Heat that you cannot feel, never. Number 4, use your diet to support your circulation. Honestly, not magically. There is no single miracle cup that cures cold feet, despite what you may have seen, but certain foods genuinely help your body produce more of that vessel-opening nitric oxide. Leafy greens like spinach and arugula and beets and beet juice are among the richest natural sources of the nitrates your body converts into nitric oxide. Research has shown beetroot can measurably improve blood flow. Garlic, ginger, and a little cayenne pepper have long been associated with supporting circulation and a feeling of warmth. Foods rich in omega-3 fats like oily fish support healthy, flexible blood vessels. And staying well hydrated matters more than people think, because thicker, more dehydrated blood flows less easily to your extremities. So build your plate around greens, beets, healthy fats, and warming spices, and drink enough water. That is the honest version of the food story. Supportive, real, and worth doing, but working alongside movement, not instead of it. Number 5, fix the fixable underlying causes with your doctor. This is where the biggest wins hide. If a blood test shows you are low in iron or B12, correcting that can transform how warm and energetic you feel. If your thyroid is underactive, treating it can turn your internal thermostat back up. If your cold hands started with a new medication, an adjustment may be possible. These are not things you manage with socks. They are things you find with a simple blood test and fix at the source. So if you are cold all the time, ask your doctor for a basic panel, a complete blood count, iron and B12, a thyroid test, and if you have any risk factors, a look at your circulation. That one appointment can find the real answer. Number 6, protect your circulation for the long term with the habits that keep your arteries open. If you smoke, please stop. Nicotine directly constricts the small blood vessels in your hands and feet, and it is one of the most powerful causes of cold extremities and the single biggest accelerator of the artery disease we talked about. Keep your blood pressure and blood sugar in a healthy range, because both, uncontrolled, damage the small vessels that feed your fingers and toes. Manage stress, because chronic stress floods your body with hormones that clamp down on those same small vessels, which is why your hands go cold when you're anxious. And limit caffeine and alcohol if you notice they worsen your symptoms, as both can affect circulation in some people. Let me give you a simple evening routine that pulls the best of this together, because bedtime is when cold feet bother people most and keep them awake. About 30 minutes before bed, do 3 to 5 minutes of gentle movement, a walk around the house or a set of ankle pumps and toe curls to get the blood flowing. Then a warm, safely tested foot soak or a good pair of warm socks. Keep your bedroom and your body warm enough that your core is comfortable so it releases blood to your feet. And if you wake in the night with cold feet, a few ankle pumps right there in bed will often warm them faster than anything else. Small, consistent habits night after night. That is what changes this. Now let me pull it all together, because I have given you a lot. Cold hands and feet after 60 are usually a circulation and heat production story, aging vessels making less nitric oxide, less muscle and insulation to generate and hold heat, and sometimes nerve changes, low iron or thyroid or medications. Most of it is ordinary and very manageable, but watch for the signs that are not ordinary. One foot much colder than the other, a sudden cold and painful foot, the white-blue-red color change, and any non-healing sore. Those need a doctor. And to warm yourself for good, the order that matters is move often, keep a little muscle, warm yourself safely from the outside, eat to support your circulation honestly, fix the underlying causes with a blood test, and protect your vessels by not smoking and keeping your blood pressure and sugar in check. Here is what I would love for you to do right now. Think back to that check we did at the start. The temperature, the nail press, the color. In the comments, tell me what you found, and whether one of your feet was colder than the other. I read every comment, and it genuinely helps other people to see they are not the only ones. And if this gave you a clearer, calmer understanding of your own body and some real things to try tonight, consider subscribing, because that is the whole reason this channel exists, to hand you simple, honest tools to take care of yourself as you age. Go move your feet, keep them warm tonight, and I will see you in the next one.